It was the perfect season. A team built the right way. A city that lived and breathed basketball. A brand of play that made the league take notice. The 2002 Sacramento Kings weren't just good. They weren't just contenders. They were the best team in basketball. And yet, when it was all said and done, they were left with nothing. No championship, no parade, just heartbreak. Just injustice. Because what happened in 2002 wasn't just a tough loss, it was a robbery, an inside job, and the NBA has never apologized for it. But let's take it back. Let's relive the greatness before we get to the crime scene. Arco Arena, the wildest home court in the NBA. If you were an opposing team in the early 2000s, there was one place you did not want to play, Arco Arena. It wasn't just loud, it was deafening. The walls shook, the floors vibrated, and then there were the cowbells. That's right, cowbells. A sea of 17,000 fans ringing them like a siren, warning every opponent that they had just stepped into hell. Shaq once called Sacramento a cowtown, a mistake he and the Lakers would regret every time they walked into Arco. The Kings had the best home court advantage in the NBA, and it wasn't even close. This wasn't a city used to winning. This wasn't a franchise that had banners hanging from the rafters. But this team was different. This team gave Sacramento hope. A team of underdogs, outcasts, and international stars playing the most beautiful basketball the NBA had seen, and the city loved them for it. The season, a team built for a title. You don't go 61-21 in the NBA by accident. The Kings weren't just good, they were dominant. They played the game the right way, a symphony of movement, passing, and unselfish play. They didn't just beat you, they overwhelmed you. Chris Webber was the heart, the leader, the most complete power forward in basketball. He could post up, shoot, pass, rebound. He did it all. 27 points, 11 boards, 4 assists per game. A walking mismatch. Mike Bibby, the ice-cold assassin. No fear, no nerves. When the moment got big, he got bigger. The heartbeat of the team. Peja Stojakovic, one of the deadliest shooters in the league. 40% from three before the NBA even knew how valuable it was. Doug Christie, the enforcer. The lockdown defender who took on the best player every night and made their life miserable. Vlade Divac, the wise veteran, the best passing center in basketball, a leader in the locker room, the glue that held it all together. And the bench? Bobby Jackson was instant offense. Hedo Turkoglu was a young, versatile weapon. Scott Pollard brought toughness in the paint. This team was deep. They led the league in assists. They led the league in chemistry. They played the most beautiful basketball the game had seen in years. And in the regular season, they had the Lakers number. 3-1 against the defending champs. They knew they were better. The league knew they were better. And when the playoffs came, they proved it. A team that embodied America's underdog spirit. This wasn't just any season. This was the season after September 11th. A time when America needed stories of resilience. Every team in the league wore a 9/11 memorial patch on their jerseys. And in many ways, these Kings embodied the underdog spirit of a nation picking itself back up. They weren't a big market team. They weren't a franchise with a rich history. They were a collection of international stars, late bloomers, and forgotten talent. They played for each other. They played for Sacramento. And they were ready to take down the Goliath standing in their way. The playoffs, Sacramento takes over. First round, Utah Jazz, Karl Malone, John Stockton, Hall of Famers. Didn't matter. The Kings took them out in 4. Second round, Dallas Mavericks, Steve Nash, Dirk Nowitzki, a team that could run with anybody, but the Kings could run faster. 5 games. Over. And then, the showdown. The real NBA Finals. The 2 best teams in basketball. The defending champion Lakers, the media darlings, the Hollywood dynasty, Shaq, Kobe, Phil Jackson. But this time, they weren't the best team. This time, the Kings were ready. And through 5 games, they proved it. The Kings controlled the series. They outplayed LA. They were the better team. They went up 3-2 after a Game 5 thriller, where Mike Bibby hit one of the coldest shots in NBA history. 1 game away from the finals. 1 game away from changing history. And that's when the league stepped in. Game 6, the biggest robbery in NBA history, June 2nd, 2002. A date that should be infamous in NBA history. Because Game 6 wasn't just a bad whistle. It wasn't just a missed call here or there. It was a scandal. It was a fix. It was theft. 27 free throws for the Lakers in the fourth quarter alone. Calls that had no business being made. Phantom fouls on Divac. Touch fouls on Shaq that wouldn't have been called in a pickup game. And then there was the worst of them all. Kobe Bryant, elbowing Mike Bibby in the face in the final minute. No call. Nothing. Play on. It was rigged. Plain and simple. And don't just take my word for it. Years later, Tim Donaghy, the disgraced NBA referee, admitted it. Said refs were instructed to extend the series. Said Game 6 was manipulated in favor of the Lakers. The Kings weren't allowed to win that night. And the most damning proof of all? Just months before his tragic passing, the great Kobe Bryant himself admitted it. On a podcast with Alex Rodriguez, Kobe said exactly what Kings fans already knew. He said the game was rigged, that the Kings got screwed. If the man who benefited from the robbery is telling you it was fixed, what else do you need? The Kings were robbed, and everyone knows it. Game 7, the final heartbreak. Even after all that, the Kings still had one last chance. Game 7, back in Sacramento, in front of a rabid Arco Arena crowd. And they almost did it. They fought. They battled. But the damage was done. The momentum was gone. The Kings missed 14 free throws. Peja Stojakovic's jumper betrayed him at the worst possible time. And in overtime, the Lakers won. And just like that, the Kings' championship dreams were dead. No apology, no accountability, just silence. To this day, the NBA has never apologized, never acknowledged the theft, never admitted that the 2002 Sacramento Kings were the best team in basketball. The league moved on. But real fans remember. Because the 2002 Kings weren't just great, they weren't just contenders, they were champions. They just never got the trophy to prove it.